So, Shijo works an Agile coach with Cisco, and he's bringing 20 years of experience in Agile. He has done different things. He was development manager, then he moved into testing, and he has successfully coached many coaches. Manju is bringing different kind of experience, quality management, PMO, and right now he's serving his Siemens as a PMO. I'm the one who learned from both of them and tried to brought something new flavor. I'm working with Siemens, and earlier I was working with Cisco. So the background I am coming from, I started as a developer, then moved to QA, then a Scrum Master and coach. So maybe a couple of you will relate with us over here, and if you have something, you can talk later. We used to participate in different conferences. We volunteers in different conferences as well. To give a brief history, we presented at Global Scrum gatherings. The second time at Australia for us. Last time we presented at Melbourne as well. So the second time, let's see whether we can have a hat trick next time or not. So yeah, going to the next one. Alright, so I see a good mix over here. I just need to understand that what is the audience we have, so that we will have a better flow of the workshop. So the first question, like all of you, please raise your hand. All of you. Alright, hi. How many of you have never heard about product backlog management activities or never done that? Please put your hands down. Like, not even basics. Not even basics.
So you don't know about what is product backlog is all.
You don't even know what is product backlog. You don't even know what is user story. You don't know even basics. Alright, so at least.
I don't know what I should do with my hand.
What I'm saying is, if you don't know any basics of product backlog, user story, just put your hand.
Oh, no.
I know.
No, if you know it, will be. If you don't know, then your hand will go down. Alright, so the good thing that everyone knows about the basics, so we should not worry about the basics. The next question I have, you know it, but you are not practicing it as a product owner. Like you are not writing it. You know it, you understand the basics, but it is not your day-to-day activity. Please put your hands down. Alright, so now I am asking third question, that those people who is doing it on their day-to-day basis, only those people put their hands up and rest of the hands should be down. Like if you are a product owner doing it on day-to-day basis, put your hands up, rest of the hands down. Alright guys, so see these faces. These guys are going to help us throughout the workshop. Alright? So, to go forward, we need a little working area. So, it's going to be a 2-hour, close to 2-hour workshop. But what all we can cover in that? Can we cover everything in detail? Possibly not. So, if we have some questions which is going out of scope, maybe we will put it in the parking lot. That's the working agreement from our side. We'll answer that questions maybe after the session. We are here till tomorrow, and we are having 2 extra days, but we'll see if we can cover by tomorrow as well. So the second agreement, we'll try to connect all the dots of the product backlog management from inception to the delivery. From idea to the market, we'll try to connect all the dots, but on overview. So that's a working agreement from our side. From your side, please get involved, smile as much as you can, and involve and ask questions, whatever you guys have, share your experience with others. It should not be one-way communication. So with that agreement, let's move forward. Anyone use the stickies to write their expectations? They have it from this workshop. Yeah, so what are the expectations you guys have?
I can talk to this one if you want. So, yeah. So my expectation is my backlog is our product's been in production for about 10-15 years. So the backlog is a big collection of production support tasks. Please fix this, please add that, please fix this. It's not awesome, it's not a story, it's not a tale to the development of the product. So I'm keen to see if there's any way we can turn it from a just fix the broken things to make a story, make an awesome backlog.
Technical requirement, you have so much tech depth in the backlog, and you want to prioritize the Let's see whether you can cover. We have a dependency management kind of thing where we bring the external dependencies and how we can figure it in the back. Let's see if we can cover it. Yeah. Any other expectations you have? Yeah.
So looking at just when you're working with the business, and they want everything and they want it all yesterday, and it's big and it's really unclear. There's some really sort of short, sharp techniques, for helping to go through the process of ending up with a nice, clean backlog.
Okay, so you want a very clear backlog in front of your team so that they will be having a clear vision of what they need to do with that. With all the business changes and requirements coming
Yeah, I
in.
mean, iterate, but at least so you've got something to start with and then you...
Sure, let's see what technique we can give it to you. Yes, sir.
Sorry, my name is Sahida.
Yeah.
So I sit on a portfolio level,
Yeah.
and there are different Scrum team,
Right.
which I'm managing one, but it relates to everyone.
Mhm.
One of the challenge which sort of we are facing is the new team are coming up, and everyone's have their own backlog, but there's a lot of overlap, interdependencies.
Yeah.
So
we are
I'd like to
covering-
just
So the good news is that we are covering that.
okay.
All right, so
There is one more explanation.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I was just going to ask about the techniques for distribution of work across multiple Scrum teams. Single backlog.
So we are looking into that as well. All right, so how this 2 hours going to be different for you guys? When I say that, what makes us different, like together, what we'll do in this 2 hours, how this workshop is going to be different than other workshops. It's not only activity, it's not only theory one-way communication. It's multiple of things. Like when we will be doing activity, we will debrief at the same time. We'll give you a little theory part of that, that there is a why covered, there is a what covered, there is a how covered, and at the same time, if any of the participants want to share their experience, we'll take that. So that's what will make this workshop a little different. We'll not try to jump on everything, but we'll utilize this 2 hours as effectively, as productively we can. So with that, let's start this journey, which you can call idea to installation, concept to task, discovery to delivery.
All right, thanks Ashish. So, if you pick up any product, the whole concept of this discovery to delivery is very key. You know, the involvement of stakeholders right from the concept stage to, you know, the deliver and make, start making cash out of it, or, you know, ROI kind of thing. So if you look at any product or any service offerings, so typically we talk about, it all starts with discovery and delivery. So with the advent of Agile, what we are talking about is, this is not two separate activities. You cannot have a discovery activity and just keep on delivering. They actually go hand in hand. But probably we may have to do a good job in terms of initial discovery activities, and then get on to the delivery part of it, delivering the product, or, you know, actually building the product, go to the market, get the quick feedback, come back, and again maybe do the rediscovery activities. So essentially what we are trying to see here is, why are we building a product? What is the whole essence of it? That is something will be answered in you know, the first part of it. Second one is the discovery in terms of what are the minimum features, what are the LDPs that we want to do this in this product, and, you know, make it to the release. And actually then you get into the implementation or the delivery part of it and the ongoing basis feedback. So there are a lot of techniques, tools available to take care of the discovery mode and delivery mode. Of course, we know in Agile you can use Scrum or Kanban. You integrate with XP practices like your continuous integration, delivery. Those will help you in you know, enhancing the delivery part. So essentially the discovery part is key from if you look at from a product owner point of view. Why are we building this product? What is in it for us? So there are techniques which can be used to you know, bring in that clarity, both for stakeholders, business point of view, as well as for our delivery teams which are going to work on that.
Right. So next one.
So with that context in mind, now the whole idea, as Ashish was talking about, is to give you a hands-on experience of how do we do this together. So there is a concept of something like, you know, product co-creation, or how do we bring everybody onto the same page, that the development team also can own or can contribute in terms of having a common understanding, or what do we call everybody is on the same page. So if you have to do that, the most essential part of the story is a backlog. So let's talk about a backlog. So what we are going to cover in next an hour and a half is going to be on the product backlog.
And those who are vegetarian worried about chicken, don't worry, we have vegetables also.
All right. Now that you guys are here for a workshop on product backlog, typically, who would write user stories? Product owner? Any other opinions or?
Business analyst.
Business analyst?
Anyone in the Scrum team?
Anyone in the Scrum team? Okay. developers of anyone in this company. Alright, who should write it? Any definitions there?
Yeah, like if we change the question, who should write it? Who writes it a different thing?
Yeah,
Who should
both
write it?
questions are relevant. So yeah,
The person that can articulate it the best.
Yeah. And what would you call somebody who would write this user story?
Product
Product
magician.
owner? Alright, for the purpose of this workshop, right? Again, there are practices which varies from teams to teams. You might have maybe managers writing user stories, Scrum masters writing user stories. All that would be the practices which might be there, right? But what we are assuming here is that in this product backlog workshop, you are going to write user stories, and we are going to call it product owners. Product owners are writing user stories in this workshop. Okay?
So each individual, everyone on the table, at the table you guys treat yourself as a product owner. That's the message
Right.
he is giving.
And if that is offensive, our apologies to call it product owners. So, okay, anyway, so let's get started. So we have a project for you. And as we progress, right, you're not going to right away start writing user stories for a product. Let's assume that you're going to be the product owner for, or you're hired as the product owner for this project. You're not going to start writing from day one the user stories, right? We'll take you step by step in this process of how do we get to eventually writing user stories which are meaningful, which will really make purposeful teams. That's the goal. Now, to expand on the project, it's about getting fresh fruits and vegetables from the market to the consumers. And we are not talking about supermarkets. Probably that's where you would typically buy your fruits and vegetables from, right? What we are hoping to do is that there are a lot of local farmers around your area where you may not know about them, and they don't have a platform to go and sell stuff even if they want to. So we want to actually connect these two group of people where if you're a local farmer, you would be able to sell your produce, or if you're a backyard gardener, right, you would be able to sell the extra produce that you have. And around your locality, you should be able to search for and go buy the fruits or vegetables that you want to. And you will be able to advertise that as a community. You will be able to talk about like how was the last purchase that you had, your experience, any recipes, any tips, put star ratings, all of that stuff, right? So this is the overview of the product that we want to build. And like any other products, the first thing that people would think about is there an app for it? So you are going to build an app, or your team is going to build an app, so to speak.
So,
Clear?
yeah. Any questions till now? So this is a product we have introduced to you guys. You guys are product owners for this product, which is called Farm to Home. And the idea behind is that the local farmer or the gardener, they have large produce and they want to sell it to the people, and it should be like readily available to fresh food. So that's the idea of this whole product. Is it clear? Yeah.
Okay. Now, the first step that we would like you to do is in each of the tables, come up with one communication that you would do to your development team or the engineering team.
Use this one.
You're stepping as the product owner for this this product, and you have a team who is going to actually develop the product. So this is going to be your first kind of kick-off meeting with them. Just very high level, talk about what you're going to do. All right, this is kind of the communication. And what we would, before we go any further, right, what we would like you to do is, on each table, you have this bigger post-its. You could write down.
This one? Can use this?
Not as individuals, but as
a team.
group. So each table will write down one statement, communication statement, which would talk about what exactly the team is going to do. So you could join one of the tables and then.
So the basic idea of this activity, we are starting the timer. It is a time-based activity. How much are you?
So we'll have 2 minutes to do this.
Sure. So the basic idea is that each table is a POC team, and consider other table as your developers or like business, whatever, and you have to write a communication about this product, that what is the idea you have about this product, how you are going to start the communication with this. So, are we clear about the activity? Shall we start it?
The timer starts now.
Alright guys, so as a table, as a group, you discuss and come up with a
Who does want to write? There you go.
Quick question.
Sure.
So is there a one product and
You guys are a group of product owners, like one vision should come out of this. One communication should come out of this.
I hear Queen. The song One Vision by Queen.
Yeah.
Can I volunteer to be a Scrum for you? And I might just add something. Shoot that.
Yeah. So what is vision?
How much time do we have?
We have 3 minutes, so two. So timer is running, so we have a minute.
Oh, we have a minute. How do you do that? How about we all mention what it is, and then just pick up points. So the vision is that as a farmer, I would like to sell the local produce to the local community or the friends and family.
Yeah.
I want to get the maximum value with the minimum amount of usage. So there's a normal distribution where your stock is going to be valuable for a certain period of
Once you're
time.
ready, you can
After a certain period of time, it will start to diminish in value. You want to get that produce, cutting out the middleman. You're going to be able to make more margin going direct to the consumer via an intermediary. So this is why we do it. So we want to get as much product to the consumer in a shorter period of time while it is still fresh. Because once the freshness starts to deteriorate, then the value prop diminishes quickly. So I'm just thinking out loud. Yeah, so I guess as a product owner, I suppose I'm seeing this more from the farmer side than the customer side. In terms of
Alright, so let's share the experience. So what was running in the head when you started this exercise?
Well, we wondered about the format we were going to write in. It was a big concern.
Okay.
So none of us said we should write it as a story.
Okay, so we were not concerned about the format at all, but still, you share what you have written.
So we wrote, as a grower, I want to market my products to local communities so that I can expand my market and provide a service to the community.
And do you feel that it will connect the dots of the entire product into it?
This is the vision statement.
So, any others? One more table. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So I suppose using the same formula as a farmer, I want to maximise the value of my produce so that we can provide customers with the freshest products possible and maximise our return.
Others can connect with these two guys, or we have something different?
Is it widely different than what these two teams thought about? Is it on the same page?
Are you guys on the same page? All three tables? Alright. So, what was the idea of this activity, Shijo? What you asked to them to write a communication? What was the idea?
So this is your communication to the development team as the product owner, right? Or the person who is really going to bring in the business to the development team. Now, it's important that we understand a couple of things, right? I'm sure the product owners here already would be doing this, but for the benefit of all of us, right? This is one of the crucial communication where you either make the team super excited. Really? Oh yeah, this is really going to make a big impact for the people around us, right? So that excitement should be built into the team. Who would do that? You. Because remember who you are today, just for this session, you're the product owner.
All right.
Because once you present that, so you can either motivate the team or demotivate the team. Right?
So, you recognize this guy? Everyone? I was going to give you a problem.
Is that the guy from that furniture thing which is
Yeah. So this guy, like people say that he is one of the best product owners. Why? Because he brought a vision, a business strategy, and he brought that into more of a product strategy. So if you see in a real time, vision is nothing but bringing the idea of the business strategy and converting into the product strategy. Over and over, like we were not totally concerned about the format. We were concerned about that if you guys have thought about the target people, that who will be the target people for this product. We were concerned about that if you guys have covered the need, you have covered the like evoked the emotions with your communication. We were more worried about that need in this vision. We were worried about your product idea, that if you are going to sell this product to your business people outside over there or the development team. We were worried about seeing the values in this vision. So we were mainly looking for these four things when you were doing this activity. So the whole idea of vision, if you see, it's the first big guess that what I will do with my product. It's the first big shot, big guess, ballpark thing you are thinking. But on that, basically you should understand that you should connect dot of all these four together. So thanks for this activity. With that, we are moving to the next one.
So these are a couple of thoughts that we want you to actually take away as we complete this backlog workshop. When we typically talk about backlog, right, people talk only about user stories. We are hoping that as we go through this, you would also be taking away few of these key aspects. The next thing that we want to talk about is personas, which is also quite common. Anybody here uses personas for your the teams that you have?
Yeah, 50-50.
Okay. What is the persona?
Individual that represents
Okay,
some part of the target group that you're aiming at.
Exactly. It's an individual who is representing a wider group. And why would you use personas?
You can better relate to them, right? So,
Yeah.
You create a certain set of these are the things this persona is looking for.
Mhm.
And set boundaries around that.
Yeah. Yeah, it really helps us define what exactly are we looking for. Than looking at, okay, this is my understanding of the product, let me now start talking about my version of the product. Then looking through the eyes of this representative group of people, and then talking about what do they need? What are they struggling with? How are we going to help them?
Right. Just that Shijo is talking about, do you think it is always, it has to be a person, or can it be another system as well? When you talk about a complex product, probably you are talking about another subsystem, or maybe a system which is going to consume the entire thing what you are building. It could be individual, or it could be another system as well.
Think from the perspective of the product we have introduced to you guys, or you have written a vision of that product. So based on that product, do you think that these personas suffice, or you need something more? Like, do you want to walk us through the personas?
Yeah, I'll just quickly walk you through this. Again, these are just representative people, right? They may not even be real people, but just for our convenience, we are putting their names. And later your team might be refer to John than a local farmer. That's okay. When people talk about John, everybody knows, okay, he's the local farmer. Or Teresa, she's a conscious shopper, right? So we define two sets of personas for people who want to sell things. One is the local farmer and then the backyard gardener. So we have put a couple of pain points. You don't really have to go through like everything. We are actually going to give you a printout of that. John essentially wants something which is a little more cost effective for him than going to the farmer's market, which costs him more. And he wants to make some profit, right? And he doesn't want his produce to go waste. And for Roland, his pain points are he has at times more produce than he can consume. He doesn't want to just let it go waste. So and they will have a set of goals. When you build personas, right, you might add a lot more detail. This is just a starter for you. You might add the attributes, what they are really interested in, the background they have, whatever would really help you define the best experience for the person or the group of people that you are developing the product for. That is what you would look at. And you might actually go interview people, get some of this data. You're not just going to come up with this stuff yourself, right? And we have a more modest budget. She wants to have good organic produce, but at a much cheaper rate. And we have the conscious shopper, again, worried about the cost as well as where she's getting the food from. And that's at a high level how we have defined the personas. Anything that you think if you want to add, any other personas?
How about the business owner's guide? Someone is going to build this product and gain some money out of it. Is that your persona? Think.
The business owner? What do you think? Should we add the business owner here as persona?
No.
No? Sorry?
Yeah.
It's not the purpose of the tool.
It's not the purpose of the tool?
Like we have seen some user stories used, you can call it handy pattern. As an engineer, I want to develop that. So, as engineer, I need a persona. As a database administrator, I want to develop this. Is a database administrator a persona? Definitely not. So, that was the question and that was the food for thought for you guys. So, yeah, that's the next thing. So, with that, we are going for activity. May I request three of you to move to one table each because we need larger group of people. Sorry to disturb. So maybe one can join this.
The activity that we would like you to know, take up. You understand the product, you have the vision for the product, right? And you also have now the personas, you have done the user interviews, and you have absolute clarity on what are the pain points and what are the kind of problems that you are going to solve for your user base, whomever you are going to develop the product for. Now, the next step that we would like you to do is based on the personas, they have the pain points and the goals, and when you look at the goals a little more closer and try to write down a list of features that you can quickly come up with. You will get 3 minutes to complete a list of features.
So you guys have the sheets of features.
Yeah. So we have given you this post-its of this size. So you can use this to write down features. One post-it for each feature. So is it clear now that we know the product, we know the vision, we know the personas. The next step is to identify the features.
So where are we going?
Should we just write one picture and post it?
Use these posters.
Use this bigger one. Think about the picture, like it's the bigger picture, like what all features can be.
Use the bigger
You have all yeah, that's one feature. So you're going in the right direction of that.
Map of
Geolocation.
where
So we're just writing one bit thing or
So, how long have we got?
Look, we've got 10 minutes.
So generally, it's a problem-solving exercise. Best to do it individually for a period of time, then consolidate the ideas, see what's the you get a greater.
That's it. Good idea.
But still one idea per.
Oh, yeah, I'm just going
Your time started now.
So have a bit.
Yeah, then we can easily say, oh, they're all the same idea.
Yeah. Start identifying one picture in each post-it so that we'll be able to converge, have those conversations. So you can refer to those personas.
You guys can refer the persona and the feature list. It will help you guys to understand that. Single entire product overview is back to back. And this is persona. Entire product overview. Yeah. So you have entire product overview.
Are you guys able to identify high-level epics or features? If I'm a buyer, what is that typically I would be interested to do in the app? So these screenshot from the app can maybe give you some idea. Maybe as a buyer, I would like to search, less the request like that, high level.
So this is the product overview. So this is we are just looking at the bigger picture. We'll put the story. We'll put that in
Very high level, guys, features.
Educational, social,
So that's okay. We have 5 minutes left. So we're brainstorming.
Yeah, by the post.
Yep, I can start if you want. So I've got this geolocation for Mark Shopper. Yep.
I got
That's it. I think it's same thing. Yep. Anyone? Yep. Okay, let's click that. Now, yep. So are we happy to call this one as a map so that we can find?
Yeah, I think it's just one thing that's not written out.
Compare cost and consumer.
I had the ability to just join together with another buyer.
The shopping cart. And the last one is the compare cost rate. I just go together.
I have pictures on it. I use space for description.
Yeah,
Yes. Idea is like
I had that recipe.
come up with a
I think that was
So Jim wasn't there.
had produced so like when it's gonna come right in the season, I'm gonna have like heaps of tomatoes in 2 weeks. And then off the back.
Guys, okay? Able to identify the features? High level, I think. Search? Awesome. Correct.
So we got here, search there, you can see on the map, complete cost, shopping cart, risky ideas. So product available to sell. Yeah. So like photo and
Yeah. So, but we start about what features probably each of these personas will be interested.
It's kind of relating persona with the product
feature.
So I've got like geolocation or map for mom and shopper so that they can find the farmer who's going to
So
farm.
you're talking about searching.
Search by location. Yeah.
Okay.
And user map.
Okay. What else? So if I'm a farmer, what are the features I need to post my schedule front back?
Yeah, so that's any problems, no matter what the salary is, some factors,
And also to be able to see how much
Okay.
Got things like the data is pegged, who's fresh it is, those kind of greater value, fresh as it is.
I might enable like barter, so you can just swap produce.
Whether it's organic or not.
Produce
All right,
reviews.
20
Link
seconds
to
more.
that one.
Yeah.
You guys want to convert, see if there's any duplications?
So this is as a consumer,
Yeah,
right?
can deliver,
I
yeah.
had to save money, maybe these two ladies might want to come together and bulk buy.
I want to send a bunch of fresh food to charity.
Oh, that's a good idea.
All right, come back.
Time up.
Come back, guys. So how was the activity for you guys? Like one key takeaway of this activity? Anyone? That table maybe? What was the idea? Like when you were doing this activity, what was the idea? Where you started and where you guys ended?
Maybe a takeaway is that it's hard to make everyone the same granularity. It's hard to know what granularity is about.
Any challenges you had when you started? It was all clear. Or any disagreement on this table while you were doing it? Or this is a wonderful team? All right.
Okay. So,
I'm going to say something, but don't take it for that.
Sure.
typically when we do this activity, right?
So here some
We start by diving deep, and then we pull back out and don't start writing user stories.
Yeah.
Pull back out.
You want something.
Good line, where university.
That's nice. The usual tendency for us to get into very nitty-gritty, the user stories level, not think about from a feature or epic product. Awesome.
So we have a feature list on each table. So what
Okay. In fact, I was just noticing that one of the features that they wrote down was location of buyer. And they are not really getting into the details of, how do we do that? That's the right level of detail that you would want to get into at this point. You don't really have to figure out how you do it. Just talk about what are the high level features that you want to have for your product. Now, in real life, this might be the toughest activity to do because you really want to make sure that you are getting the right set of features. Ultimately, that will decide whether you are going to make money or not. So it's not going to be a 5-minute activity for sure, right? You need to have justifications why it's a good feature to have. In bigger organizations, right, where you have products which are more sold as a solution than as individual products. That's the kind of scenario which you were referring to initially, right? You might have multiple POs. You will have, let's say, this 5 or 4 tables are 4 different products. You would have 4 different product owners who will have 4 different ideas, and they will think that that's the best for their product and their team, and they want to make money for that. And how do you convince? How do you converge and come up with one single list of features? Because ultimately, that's how you would want to look to the outside world. That you're not 4 different products, but you're one single solution and you have absolute clarity on what you want to do, and there's consistency in how you do it eventually.
Yeah. So if we want to complicate the current given scenario, we talked about maybe farm to home in terms of only vegetables and fruit. What if you want to build a system which can sell groceries, which can sell dairy products, meat products? You know, like how it is complex and it's scaling up. So that's the scenario what we're talking about.
So then comes feature prioritization. How do you prioritize features? In fact, we had an activity plan around this, but we will not be able to get into that because of the time constraints. But what we would like to hear from you is, what are the typical ways that you have seen or you have done back in your teams? How do you prioritize features? You have like 10 features.
We have legislation constraints,
Okay.
so that sometimes dictates.
Yeah, some legal constraints, legislation constraints, so that comes up like the top right. You have to do it.
Yeah, we'll mention
All right.
Regulatory,
Okay. Regulatory.
legal requirements.
Okay. Any other ways you have done the feature prioritization?
Client sales pending the feature being available, then it often will be a priority that you have to do that first because
Yeah. Yeah, if somebody's putting dollars on the table. Yeah.
Actual calendar timelines, if you don't release it in this time, you wait another year before you can release that feature because the customer might only use it in that period of time.
So, time sensitivity.
I mean, it all depends. Like, the thing here is, we can write all of these things down. So the key thing comes, and don't get me wrong here, but it all comes down to that green thing there. What was our initial vision there? What is our minimum viable product? And yes, there would be 500,000 different ideas. How we actually prioritize them into must prioritize. Should, could, and won't. And then we pretty much actually just go and then say, right, these are the minimum set of the thing we must have. And that must could be regulatory, trying, dollar.
Also is another very common way people prioritize backlog.
Yeah.
And value, the business
Value.
value.
Yeah, so there are multiple techniques. So why not we see that what are techniques we use generally for the prioritization? Right? You want to walk us through with that?
See, one thing that we would have actually done the workshop for is one technique that we typically use for our product. There are like multiple product owners. There are like 20 of them, and they have different thought process ideas. So it's called the investment, where each of them, like let's say we would distribute. Okay, you are just one product owner, right? So we would give you $100. So each table gets $100, and you have 15 or 20 features out there. You can go and invest how much ever you want in each of the features. Of course, you need to also justify why you are investing so much. Let's say you decide to invest $50 for something. You need to have a justification for it, or $5 or nothing for something, right? Talk about it. So that way you have, and all of the product owners come together and then converge. What is the priority in terms of the investment each product got, based on your understanding, and then what are the reasons? Back and forth. Again, maybe you could change your investments based on the arguments that you heard from the other product owners, and finally arrive on the list.
We often go back to our SMEs and ask them, these are the things that you've asked for, and we basically say to them, this is how much time you've got, which one would you want to deliver first, and we get them to help us with the prioritization, because they're the ones that are going to be using it.
Right. So there is a technique called value effort or value complexity matrix. So what is the value of this particular feature, and what it takes to build this, or how complex is this to build? So you can keep value as one of the parameters, and you can play around with it. Could be in terms of effort, it could be in terms of complexity, or it could be in terms of market share. So that is another technique you can use. What I have also seen is techniques like which typically some of the frameworks recommend, like weighted average, affinity grouping techniques, Kano model. I don't know how many of you have heard about Kano as a technique for prioritization. So these are some of the techniques.
Look up actually. We won't be able to getting into the details of.
Yeah, so idea is like you have a list of features. You can use either of the techniques, but you should have a clarity in front of the team when you are going. like there cannot be 3 priority 1 for them. Like it should be priority 1, 2 and priority 0. Like you cannot go and say to the team that guys, you have to develop all 3 in the same priority. It cannot be done by a product owner. That's the whole idea. You use either of the technique, but and the prioritization should be clear. Yeah, going to the next.
Okay, so now that you guys have identified features, you know the product, you know the vision, you know the personas, we have listed down the features and done the prioritization. Is this good enough? No. What essentially a product backlog should consist of? What else do you see the need?
All the details, like the acceptance criteria.
Details. Yeah. So detail in the form of user stories. Awesome. So at this level, do you think you need the user stories from a feature point of view, or you need both from a feature as well as technical point of view?
I think you need it, right?
At least at a feature level to understand and break down into the further nitty-gritties, isn't it? Correct. That's what we are talking about. So it's all about stories. So now we are actually getting into identifying the user stories for each of those features which you have identified. Yes, Ashish.
Yeah. So, yeah, you have some food?
So is it?
Alright. So, if I ask a question, what are the ingredients of good users? Like, we are coming from a land of masalas, like, we've got all these ingredients. So, yeah.
As a user, so that.
Sure. So, when you're saying, as a user is what? A persona?
Yes.
Yes. And so that is what? Value or key activity?
Yes, so you can see, you use those to explain what the user is wanting to achieve and why.
Alright, so she is saying that the good ingredient of a good user story, the first is persona, then the key activity, and then with both of these we need to reach to somewhere, that is the goal of the third user story. Is that what I summarized it right? Or anything I missed it? So you are right to the point. So when we will be writing the user story in the next activity, we should think from the perspective that we are covering all 3. I'm not asking you to write in a particular format, that as or whatever, but whatever format you are using, definitely keep in the mind that these 3 things should be covered in any user story. Why? So these 3 are like some jargons generally we use when we are talking about the product backlog. This is called 3C, that is called invest, and this is called D. So 3C, when we are talking about a single user story. So anyone wants to talk about 3Cs? Maybe you want to, you can give a light on 3Cs?
3Cs?
Yeah. Have you heard about that?
No.
Alright. So it is nothing but card, conversation and confirmation. So when we say card, a user story should not be this big size. A user story should be small enough to fit in this big size. So that is a card. A size of user story should be like a placeholder or something which is written in this big size, but in a way where a conversation can happen. The second C stands for conversation. A card, a conversation. So a conversation between whom? A product owner and the development team. A product owner, when he is giving a card to a development team, they should initiate a conversation on that. That is the second C. The third is confirmation. Based on the conversation, they are agreed on the acceptance criteria and all, and there is a final confirmation to develop this story. So that is what 3C is about. Invest, you guys heard about invest? You want to talk? Invest? You?
No.
Alright. So I will take it up. Every story, how it should be? It should be independent from the other story. Suppose like I am writing a set of stories, 3 stories over here, and each stories are dependent on each other. Think about the developers guys. What will be their life? Like they really don't know whether I should develop this first or this first, because there is so much interdependency between each of them. So I stands for independent, N stands for negotiable. When we are writing any story, you should leave a scope of the negotiation over there. It should not be stone-cladded thing that no, this is something you need to do. Third is V for value. Every story should generate some value once it is developed. E is estimable. Like you cannot write something which is infinite. Like I don't know that how much size of this story is. S is small and T is testable. So when you're writing a story, think in a direction that, okay, fine, this should fit in invest criteria, it should be independent from each other, it should be valuable, it should be small. When I'm writing a story, it should be testable. Coming to the deep. Deep is a term we've used for the product backlog, the entire product backlog. A backlog is something which is not stone-cladded, it should be emergent. It should not be fixed that we have to finish over here. It should be a continuous exploration. There should be discussion between the product owner and the team to get the next set of the stories. It should not be a stop boundary over there. So it should be always a grooming should be there. It should be emergent. It should be detailed appropriately. Like you guys, what you are doing right now, you guys are doing amazing job. You have developed a vision altogether. You have developed a feature altogether. Now you will be developing user story. So you are detailing it appropriately. The last part is prioritization. What we talk about the prioritization technique. So product backlog should constitute all these things. So with that, lot of theory. We are going to a video that wrong way to write user story. So I'm a fan of this guy. His name is Chet Wrong. So let's see what he have to say about wrong way to write the user story.
Chet Wrong here with the wrong way to do Agile. Today, requirements. You should write specifications for all development projects. The more detail, the better. Start with a marketing requirements document and a product requirements document. Maybe throw in a design document too. Now you are finally ready to start writing your stories. And remember, if your story doesn't fit on a single card, then it is too short. So keep writing. Don't be afraid to add an amendment if needed. And once everything is written down, then there is no confusion.
It says in 8.1.2.5.17 of the PRD that it's supposed to have a hover state.
How did I miss that? And most importantly, don't start coding until everyone has signed off on the specifications. And that's the wrong way to do requirements.
You know what is the right way now, you know what is the wrong way. So we are going to the next activity now, that let's write the user story. You guys have stickies, they should not be bigger than this. Remember 3 C's, card, conversation and confirmation. You can use any format, but the basic idea that your story should have a persona. Your persona is there on the table. So you can write a story that as a John, what John needs, or maybe what Roland needs, or what Sabre needs. What the key activity they will do to reach a goal. So think from that perspective. If you guys are getting any doubts, we are here to help you guys. It's a 10-minute activity. Think as a team. Come up with the stories for different personas, different features you have written. So now you have features, you break down the feature into the smaller stories. So your time starts now, guys. Any questions?
So don't worry too much into the format in terms of as a user and all. So even if you are able to break down this feature into smaller pieces, so that serves the purpose.
So these are the features.
You pick up each feature and start breaking down into further sub-features or stories. Don't worry about this now. So don't worry about minimal variable. List down as many user stories as you can.
You have a feature list in front of you. Just break down those things.
So at least identify 2 or 3 user stories for each feature.
Yeah, so I was going to say, do we first we want to have a very preliminary prioritization?
So the thing is, like, I guess could be right now, so it's good we did that. Keep that one.
Try to touch as many as feature possible you can, like couple of stories.
So what we are doing is like, yes, we did this exercise, but we are just going to take you through the feature and then just break it down.
So I shall be taking persona each line,
Yes,
or
starting with John one. Okay. And then what I can do is that I can cover this so consider these 3 as features. Story, what I want from these features. Does that help?
I think they only give me 3.
Who would you like to be? and to raise a conscious shot. We're just trying to build empathy with today's woman.
Right now, don't worry so much about categorizing and all that. Just write as many stories as you can.
Take each feature and see what can be the details of it.
From my random.
Don't worry about formatting. Take each feature, write down as many stories as possible for each feature.
Can I suggest that the most important management
For example, search.
For example, this is very classical.
Divide and conquer.
What kind of notification? What notification you're talking about?
Right, 2 more minutes.
Don't worry about the format. So just high level start identifying. Okay, search by location, search by map, search Okay, time up, but let's take maybe another 2 minutes to conclude.
Didn't think that was so
Okay.
due to time constraints.